Okay. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Believers Friday Comic Workshop. And also welcome to my living room, which is also my office and my studio and my dining room, and it's lots of things. We're going to be making some comics about music tonight. I'm just gonna share my screen here. One second. Okay, a little bit about me. I'm Jarett, of course. Before we get into it, I do want to give a big thank you to Kristen and also the Believer for inviting me to do this workshop, and just also a really big thanks to them for putting on these free comic workshops on Fridays, because we definitely need as many things like this as we can get right now. But yeah, I'm Jarett. I don't always do a ton of comic work, but I am a full-time freelance illustrator who is based in Calgary, Alberta in Canada. Even though I don't do a ton of comic work all the time, I definitely take a lot of inspiration from comics. Almost all of my work has some kind of narrative, and lots of times my work can be looked at as kind of like a one-panel comic. And I'm a huge fan of comics as well, so I end up borrowing a lot of the visual language that I see in comics, like speech bubbles, and they play a big influence on my work. Here you can see a few posters I've done, as well as cover for the Believer, and the middle image is like obviously completely borrows from comics and is kind of this mock comic book cover there. Music is inspiration. So music has definitely been always a big inspiration for me, and also informs a lot of my work. A large portion of the work that I do is for music in the music industry. So I do lots of merch, gig posters, album artwork, and music videos, to name a few things, stuff like that. So here's a few pieces I've done. There's an album cover, a single cover, festival poster, and a shirt that I've done. When I'm approaching my work in music, I try to not only come up with work that I think that the musicians' fans will dig and hopefully want to buy, but I also want to create work that expands or helps establishes a musician's brand and something that appeals to them. I'll often think of it as a sort of conversation between me and the musician, where I try to convey what they're saying and the tone of their music, all of that in picture form. And I also think that it's important that my own personality shows through my work, so that it becomes kind of this duet almost, where you want your own voice and the voice of the musician to both be seen and heard throughout the artwork. Here's a few gig posters that I've done for musicians over the past few years. So to aid in my ideation process, I'll often read interviews with the musician I'm doing work with. Of course, I'll be listening to their music, and I'll sometimes even listen to music from other artists that give me a similar vibe or feel to what I think that they also want to convey. And one of the great things about being a working artist is that I am able to listen to music all the time while I'm working. And even if the job isn't specific to the music industry, I do find that listening to music can often help get me in the right frame of mind for a project. So one of the really tough parts, speaking of music, during the pandemic, is that lots of people have not been able to see any live music. And I know that's been like one of the things that I've really missed over the past year. But at the same time, a lot of people have been able to help like cope day to day by listening to music, I think. So I thought we could make some comics about listening to music tonight. And you can either have in mind listening to a live performance or just from recordings at home. So for this exercise, we're going to first make 3 panels that we'll be working with that'll serve as our template. So here's an example of what the template should look like. I'm thinking 2 smaller boxes at the top and then a larger one spanning the width of the 2 on the bottom. So we'll just take a couple seconds and people can prepare that on their page. And I'll stop my screen share for now. And I think I can try to show you my screen as I'm working digitally here. So you can definitely use a straight edge to make your boxes, or you can just freehand it. It's whatever appeals to you. Also, while I'm working, if anybody has any questions for me, you can feel free to put that in the chat, and the believer can relay those to me. Okay, do most people have their boxes ready? Sweet, great. Let's move on to the next stage here. 1 second. Okay, so for the first box, we're going to think about a musical act, and that's what we'll be drawing in this one. So you're introducing a musician here. It can be your favorite musician. It can be a fictional musician, just whatever you feel like. We're gonna take about 7 minutes for this one. I'm going to work with the raccoon character that I put in the promo image, if you saw that. I think I'm gonna introduce him on kind of a little gig poster here. And maybe I'll give him a name as well. Maybe I'll name him Benny Burrs. He'll be Benny Burrs, the raccoon raconteur.
Jarett, while you're drawing, Trina wants to know, do you always work digitally or do you ever use a pen and paper?
So oftentimes I do work digitally now. I used to, some of the examples I showed were with brush and ink, and I do enjoy working with brush and ink. I switched primarily to digital because it can be pretty quick, as well as it's usually good for clients to have a digital file, and also it's good for clients when there's lots of revisions, because those can be like pretty tricky when I'm using brush and ink. Gonna give him a long tail here. Maybe I'll put a title on this gig poster. It'll be acoustic. No, it'll be raccoon acoustic. With Benny Burrs. I'll still do brush and ink sometimes when I'm do commissions for people and they want more of like a painting or just like an original piece. I'll sometimes still go back to just brush and ink. And I still do like pen and pencil in my sketchbook. So sometimes I'll get away from the digital. It is nice to have like digital files so that I don't just have my apartment littered with paper because it gets a bit crazy. Sometimes I just have like stacks of pictures. Okay.
Another question from Anna. She'd like to know, do you ever work for musicians that you've never listened to before or that you're unfamiliar with?
Oh yeah, more so than musicians that I have heard. Most of my work comes just by word of mouth. So musicians will reach out, or record labels, or their managers, and that's how I'll be introduced to them. You can find some like definitely interesting musicians that way, which is nice. So about 1 minute left here. And then we'll move on to the panel 2. That looks pretty good. I don't know how well you'll be able to see all of these, but I'll be posting this later, and you can check out what it looks like for sure. Okay, Raccoon Acoustic with Benny Burrs, the Rack on Tour, one night only. Okay, let's move on to panel number 2. So for this panel, we're going to be thinking about an environment or location that you would want to listen to the musician that you picked. So it could really be anywhere. It can be your favorite local venue that you used to watch live acts at. It can be your car. You can kind of think about maybe a place that would complement the music, or a place that you'd like to be listening to them, or maybe it's just your favorite place that you already listen to music. So for mine, I'm gonna make it a forest, and I'm gonna show myself just kind of walking towards the forest. Hmm.
A question from Violetta. Do you have any advice for finding one's own drawing style?
Yeah, definitely having your own style is really important, and it's usually just a kind of thing that comes with time. If you just draw lots and draw what you like, it'll eventually kind of come to you. Um, when you're starting off, you might end up mimicking more like artists that you like, and which is, that's pretty normal. And you'll end up drawing from those influences, and those will start to inform your own style. And then, yeah, I think just like drawing kind of what you like and just kind of honing your craft that way, you end up coming up with a style. I'm gonna try to put this gig poster on this tree in the foreground here. This is me walking into the forest. Got my toucan here. I don't really drive anymore, but one of the things that I really miss about driving was listening to music in the car. It's like listening to music, driving in the city late at night. Definitely like certain artists that really resonate with you when you're driving for driving music.
Nutsko would like to know, what's your creative process for drawing gig posters?
So when I'm drawing gig posters, I'll start listening to the music of the artist. I'll start just like drawing quickly imagery that kind of comes to mind, or like maybe certain subject matter that comes to mind. I'll also I was talking about that maybe I'll read interviews or like listen to the artist talking just to get a sense of like, do they have a sense of humor with their music? Is it pretty like self-serious? Um, and then once I have some rough ideas down, I'll send them off to the client. I might send like a couple ideas, or I might I might just send one I think is really strong. And then once that has the okay, then I'll start refining the image and moving to the final work. And then oftentimes the gig posters I do need to be silk screened, so I'll be mindful of how much colors I'm using. Usually I can only use like 3 colors when an image is going to be silk screened, so that goes for shirt designs as well. And yeah, then I'll kind of set up the file for that. That's pretty good. It's definitely nice to be able to do work for musicians and just be part of the music community in that sense, even though I don't play any instruments myself. And then it's also rewarding to then see your work on associated with like artists that you like. Um, you get to meet like sometimes musicians you really admire, which is nice. And see like your work on album covers or posters around. I have about 1 minute left here for this panel. Okay, that's time for this one. We'll move on to the final panel. So here, everything will kind of come together. We're going to um, have we're going to draw yourself listening to the musician you chose in the environment. So yeah, you can just show yourself listening to it in like on the plane or wherever you picked, or you can have it show the musician having their live performance. So we're going to I think we can maybe take a bit more longer on this one. Can we do 10 minutes for this one? Yeah, we have 10 minutes for the final panel here. When I'm drawing a musician, I'll also often or like always have reference material of them. So Google is obviously a great resource for that. And definitely you should never like feel bad about looking at reference material. I look at it for everything. I'll still look at it like when I'm drawing a guitar or something a lot of times. Okay.
Mikhail is wondering, in museums, they see people copying masterpieces. Do you think it's helpful to replicate other people's work?
Yeah, I do think that it can be really helpful to like copy some of those masters like that you see in a museum, because they've done a lot of like the problem solving of things that you'll probably want to be figuring out as you like are on your own like artistic journey. So like as you copy their works, it will help like inform your own practice and learn from them in that way. It's just like obviously like you don't want to be claiming it as your own work or anything, and like if you end up posting it places, you can say this is my copy of this work, or just like maybe have a dedicated sketchbook where you can practice in that way and just like never show anybody. It can help a lot for like I remember I had done it in the past when I was really starting to work with brush and ink, and I would look at like artists like Paul Pope or something, and try to replicate the kind of line work they do. Got this little raccoon belting out. You can also think about how you want to maybe show music being played, like whether you want to have lines omitting out, maybe you want to have something that symbolizes the music that's being played. You can also think about maybe having some lyrics present. I think I am going to give this raccoon some lyrics. He's going to be singing. He's going to be singing, I've got the trash panda blues. Got the trash panda blues. What am I to do? Throw some musical notes in there.
Sylvia is wondering if you have any tips on dealing with self-doubt and artist's block.
Yeah, so self-doubt and artist block. Yeah, I mean, that can be definitely tough. You look on Instagram or something, and there's like all these like fantastic artists. It's a thing that happens to me as well, where you're like, these artists are so good. Why am I drawing? But I mean, there's gonna be people that appreciate your work, and it's like you're also doing it for yourself, right? As far as drawer's block goes, it's kind of like a thing that I don't totally subscribe to. you get like as a working artist, you don't really get to have drawer's block. So if you just kind of have to start putting work on the page and then um, hope that not even hope, like if you just like force yourself to draw, you're gonna be come up with stuff. So maybe it's just maybe if you're feeling like you have drawer's block, maybe just start by drawing the things around you. Maybe start by I might just like start drawing some different animals. Like that's a thing that can help me. There's my toque. I'm gonna be dancing to the music in the foreground here.
And Susan is wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the tablet you're using.
Yeah, sure. So this is Cintiq. So it's made by Wacom, and it allows you to draw right on the screen. They are like definitely a little pricey, but it's a thing that I use throughout the day, every day. I have Procreate on my iPad as well, but I need to play with it some more. But you can definitely, it's definitely like super powerful. And then the program I'm using is called Clip Studio, and that's what I use to draw most of my work. It is mostly used for comic books. That's what it's made for. And then I'll do my coloring usually in Photoshop though. Gonna be dancing with a little rabbit here. Put a bush maybe in the foreground here. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, we're coming up on 1 minute here, but Kristen is saying that we can get an extra few more minutes, which I think would be nice to have. So let's do that. It's a bit more of a complex drawing. Use a little extra time, I think. This little bird that's dancing. Maybe I'll do a cat here. I always really liked the dancing in the Charlie Brown Christmas movie. So when I draw people or animals dancing, I'll definitely like have that in mind, like arms up. Yeah, I don't know. Some trees in the background. some flowers. We're probably coming up on time here. So if I was doing this for a client, this would be kind of like a early stage, and then I would refine it from here. I'll have some notes coming out of the panels a bit. Okay, that's time for this one. I'll take a second and just send this to myself so I can show it better. Oops. Okay, this is here's my final comic. Everything kind of came together, I think. I'll post this on my Instagram. Maybe I'll even add some color if I have time, and you can check it out there as well. All right, we're going to get to the sharing part of it, which is what have been super excited for. So I think they're going to pick some that will be showing off their own work. Yeah, if you want to share your comic, you can just raise your hand, and someone might get to you there. You can also let us know where you're from. I'd be curious to know.
Hello, I'm Laura. I'm in Philadelphia. And I drew the Danish Quartet, my favorite string quartet. And then I drew a concert hall in London, and here I am, imagining
Oh,
myself listening.
wow, that looks great. Love it. I would love to go to that concert hall.
I'll see you there.
Great. Thanks for sharing.
Hey, Lexi.
I drew, I imagined a cat singer and a bed, and then at a concert.
One sec, I'm just having trouble seeing this one. Oh, sorry. Oops. Okay, I can see it now. Wow, that looks awesome. I love the cat character.
Thank you.
That looks great. That's really fun. And where was your location?
In my bed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Great, yeah.
At a concert.
Oh, sweet. That's perfect. Thanks so much for sharing.
Hello, am I on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, hi. My name is Pablo. I'm in Montreal. So I was inspired by your animal theme. So I did the new wave bear.
Very cool.
I got inspired when I started to draw a tie, and I try to make it a skinny tie.
Right.
Then the setting, I think I got that one wrong because I was just drawing a setting where I would be listening to the music, waiting for the bus, and got so carried away by the music that I missed the bus.
Oh yeah.
And for the concert, I just put New Wave Bear at an open mic at a local cafe, and I think I'm this one here. Anyway, I sort of improvised all over the place, so.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
But it was a great exercise, and thanks so much for sharing this with us. Thank you.
Definitely. No, I'm happy to do it. I liked in your last panel how you had the windows that kind of broke up the space there.
Yeah, I mean it could be like during the day, and they pull down the slides, you know.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, thanks a lot, huh? Take care.
Yeah, that's great.
Artemis?
So I made my mom, and I made me too, and I made the grass. So it's my picture, and I drew a bubble on me, so I was floating away. And then I drew my mom with high heels. She was running after me. I had high heels too. They were supposed to be white, but I drew them purple. And that's all about mine.
That looks great. I love the colors that you use there.
Are you gonna go? Oh, you want to fill in mine? I'll go really quickly. We're in Lethbridge, Alberta. Thank you so much for putting this
great.
up.
I went to the University of Lethbridge.
Oh, nice. That's what I was trying to figure out how I heard about this event. That's why. I drew a lion. I'm Lion Fire.
Oh, cool.
Out in the cave, and then playing to apparently my African friends that live in my BC cave.
Perfect. Some cave music.
Yeah.
I based mine off of the tree spirits from Princess Mononoke.
Love it.
There's my first two, and then they're all listening to it there. Hooray.
They would they'd have good like rattling music, I feel like, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Now let's draw. Now let's draw our own.
Hi everyone, my name is Sydney and I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. I drew my dogs as a band. So this is them. It's called Awu and the Dogs 10 p.m. to Midnight Tour. And I drew them, I think in like an area like New Mexico or something, like a desert. And then here I am laying on a little like towel in the desert. And then here's the dogs up on a plateau howling. And here I am at the campsite.
Wow, I love that. I love that. I love the campsite you drew there. That's great.
Thank you.
And you did that all with a pen?
Yeah, I drew with the pen, a ballpoint pen, and then I use the whiteout when I make a mistake.
Oh, great. Yeah, no, it looks great. Thanks so much for sharing.
Thanks.
Hey, I'm George from Brooklyn. I did the poster is the Deciduous Choir weeknights. It's trees with microphones propped up in front of them, and then the place is a band shell, and I'm walking there with a picnic basket, and then the last panel is everybody sitting out at the band shell, but facing the opposite direction, listening to the trees.
That's nice.
Thanks.
I mean, why don't they do that already, right?
Yeah, really.
We need some free bands. Thanks so much for sharing.
Thanks for doing this.
Oh, I can't hear this one.
Yeah, we're having some trouble hearing you, Rebecca, but you could hold up your...
Is it because your headphones are... I don't know. Got an octopus, bottom of the sea. And we got a pretty lively ocean floor band there. I love it. I love the colors you used.
Hello, my name is Anna. I'm in Austin, Texas. So I drew one of my favorite ever musicians, Jolie Holland. I think she's originally from Texas, but I first saw her when I was in high school in London at a concert hall, and she was not sure that we were having fun because she's like, I usually play in bars in the US. And then this is like 6 years later, and I still loved her, and I'm singing to a record, crying because she's so great in my friend's apartment. And then
awesome.
Finally, back to after the show when I was in high school. This is the first ever band T-shirt I ever got signed.
Whoa.
And I met her, and it was the first time I was ever really starstruck. And she wrote on my back, "Be good," because it was the first thing that somebody else wrote on her T-shirt.
Cool.
She got a band T-shirt signed. It was the first time I met someone without shaving their armpits, and I thought that was really cool.
That is cool. Do you still have the shirt? Awesome. Okay, hold on to that. Okay, we have time for 3 more here.
Hi, I'm Anne from Southern Vermont, and I teach 4th grade, and I was reading Dallaire's Book of Greek Myths, and I read the word ass, and it made everybody so happy. I've just been thinking about that all day. So I hear the ass, which got said in my class today. I hear the ass, golden hooves, and at Yellow Barn in Putney, Vermont, which is awesome, which is a place where we go. And I want to be back with the blue hairs, back with old people and babies. So this is my fantasy.
Oh, it looks great.
Hear the ass.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right when I looked away. Okay. I drew Serge Gainsbourg, and this looks backwards to me, but this is a nightclub because haven't been able to go to anything resembling a club for a long time, and his name underneath. And then the reality of the moment is listening to music on headphones, and title of the song, A Do Creature. And these are supposed to be roses, but I didn't draw them very well.
Oh, looks good.
And we're in Bar Harbor, Maine.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Thanks so much for sharing.
Hi, thank you for your wonderful instruction. I had to go rescue my, house disasters like dinner and pets. So I missed some of it, but my quick sketch is my favorite song currently that I wish I could go dance to is Sylvester, You Make Me Feel Mighty Real. And this is kind of a conglomeration of their album covers.
Very cool.
A bunch of different looks. And this like shadow character over here is actually a strange human-shaped shadow from one of their covers. And I don't know the story, but I love it. This panel is about the lamp shop in Burlington, Vermont, where I live, and it's the best place to dance. But only
wow.
Yeah, it is filled with lamps.
I mean, that makes sense.
And it didn't really go out of business, but they closed down and changed during the pandemic. So I don't think I can go back to the lamp shop.
Oh no.
And then the last piece I didn't finish, but we have an amazing DJ in Burlington that plays at the lamp shop, DJ Taka, and he has played Sylvester in the past, and it was the best dancing experience. So I'll finish that later, but thank you.
That looks great. That sounds like a great memory. Maybe you can track down one of the lamps for your apartment.
Good idea. I think there are a lot of them. Thank you.
Okay, I think we're out of time for sharing, but I would love to see everybody's work. If you're able to, you can post it on social media. I have let's see, definitely tag me. I'm Deep Cuts on Instagram, and on Twitter I'm Jarett Sitter, and tag Believer Meg as well. And yeah, we're using the hashtag Friday Night Comics. So if you go to that, you should be able to see a bunch of work that everybody did. And I'll be using that as well. And I'll be posting my own comic on my Instagram. And I'll definitely be going through it and looking at what people post. So I would love to see it there. If you want to see more, yeah, if you want to see more of my work, you can go to my Instagram, of course, or also my website is jarretts.com. And there'll be a link on my Instagram.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jarett.
Great. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Wonderful.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Great time.